We're still here at CES 2024 at the Android booth once again, and today we learned a whole bunch of new things about how Android is getting more interoperability with other devices in your life. And today we had an exclusive interview with Sandeep Chivukula, who's going to tell us all about what Google's vision is for this type of thing. So we're going to cut right now to our interview with him, and you're going to find out all about what Google has in store for us coming up soon. Why don't you please introduce yourself and tell us about what you do at Google.
Sure. My name is Sandeep Chivukula. I'm a Director of Product Management for Multi-Device Experiences at Google. And so I've been in this role for about 18 months. And before that, I was leading product at LG, working across retail, smart home, audio, and really got a sense of what it takes to build these cross-device experiences. So here at Android, Android's all about choice, as you know. And our investments in multi-device have been around maximizing that choice for users. So users today have dozens of devices in their home. And so for me, for example, when I wake up in the morning, by the time I get to brushing my teeth, I'm listening to some music on the bathroom speaker, and then I'm making breakfast. I move that music over. And maybe I get a call on my way out. I'm sticking the earbuds in my ear to take the call on my walk over to the office. Users expect all those things to work seamlessly, regardless of what brand you're using, what platform you're on, or what underlying hardware it is. And so that's what Android's been investing in, and that's what we're continuing to invest in. That's what I support.
That's a monumental task, because you have, like you said, so many different ecosystems, so many different technologies that are all working together. And there's a certain other company out there that makes all of its own hardware that is constantly lauded for its ecosystem, obviously Apple. And it's so much easier for them because they control the hardware. So you have so many challenges in getting all these things together. Where do you even begin? Like, how do you even start with such a monumental task?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the premise that Android drives helps users have choice is one we hold really close to our heart. So when we architect these how do we do these multi-device experiences? We start with this idea that we need a technology platform that is both flexible, but also very robust and high quality, so that we can integrate our industry partners and to deliver intelligent features that adapt to users' needs. And when we do that, we look at a couple of things. One is this idea of proximity and context. What other devices are nearby? And what is that the person is trying to do? And how can we bring those two together to deliver a high quality, intelligent feature that adapts to the user, regardless of what the underlying SoC is, what the underlying manufacturer is, whatever, even we'll get into some of this later, which is even what operating system is being used. And to make that in the seamless is a difficult task, and one that I think we're doing if you look at how users are responding, it seems like we're doing a good job on. One example here is our Fast Pair product, which is about connecting your Android device to Bluetooth accessories. We started this in 2017, and this last year, I keep having to say last year because it's 2024. Last year in 2023, we had 660 million pairings on Fast Pair, which is 2x the number from the year before. So when you think about this from a user perspective, from a person, like a people perspective, and how do you build things so that people can buy the devices that they want? How do you build things that integrate those devices that people want into a seamless experience? People respond really well to that.
So you've got these data. Google has so much data on this stuff. You just said, was it 550?
660.
660. That's just insane. So with all the data that Google has, you must have so much insight into what users are doing and maybe seeing what they're not able to do. How does Google, is that how you do it basically? Are you looking at what is happening with the users and then saying, okay, this user clearly expected X to happen, but that didn't happen. Maybe we should figure that out. Is that like a way that you guys get to where the product is going to end up being?
So I think there's a few different ways to approach this, right? So I think fundamentally all companies today look at user data to figure out how can we do better, right? I think that is what makes us in this time of innovation innovate faster and faster, and that's fantastic. But I think that misses a certain amount of data, which is what could we be doing? So there's another signal here that we need to be thinking about. And so for that, I also have a two-part that I look at. Part of it is some of the vision is actually not that new. You can go back to the early Star Treks, and you can see that people just want to pick up the device that's at hand, the tricorder that's at hand, and use it. And the device should work to adapt to humans. So the vision itself is not necessarily some big new thing. Humans intuit that. The part that's interesting is, well, how do we bring that to life in a way that is inclusive to more and more people, in a way that doesn't curtail choice? And that's the part that we spend a lot of time thinking about and figuring out how to bring that to life.
So I'd like to jump into some of the things that we announced today, because today was a big day. Today at CES 2024, with the opening of the Android booth, you guys made a bunch of cool announcements of features that are here today and also ones that are coming in the future. One of the biggest ones is Nearby Share has now morphed into Quick Share. And for people who are just, kind of learning about this, Quick Share was Samsung's protocol, and Nearby Share was Android's protocol, and now they are one under Quick Share. How did this come up? Like, what was the impetus behind this? And why did you pick to go to Quick Share instead of forcing Samsung to come to Nearby Share?
Sure. Getting things done across devices in a seamless way is something that's very important to Android users, and it's something that's very important for the way we work in this new world that we live in. So things like being able to take a picture and share it quickly with your friends, to being able to transfer a file or a piece of text, has to be intuitive, simple, and fast. And that's really the core focus that we went into this effort with. And Samsung's been a great partner of ours for a long time, and they also understand that same ethos and that same principle. So when we started looking at this together, we said, hey, how can we take the best of both solutions and make this simple, one cross-device solution across all of Android? Because that's what we went into it with. And we were able to bring both the engineering teams together to look at hey, well, what are these different lenses we can bring to this problem, and how do we make it even better for the user? And that's how we ended up in this partnership, and that was, I think, the first part. The second part is, the Quick Share, Nearby Share naming. I think many people are familiar with the Quick Share branding. It's been out there. I think over 50% of Android users are familiar with it. So we leaned into that. And it actually talks about the value that this feature delivers rather than how it works.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And so it's quick. We wanted to make it quick, intuitive, simple, and that's what we're focused on.
Very cool. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Another big feature that you guys announced today was, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, was the new Fast Pair system.
Right.
Fast Pair now works on your television, well, specific televisions with, I think, the televisions from LG and televisions that had the Chromecast with Google TV.
So Fast Pair, what we announced today was Chromecast with Google TV.
That's right. Okay.
Right? Has Fast Pair. So we've been investing in Fast Pair for a little while now. We've got over 400 plus brands. 400 plus types of headphones that support Fast Pair. Yeah. And we're now taking it to new surfaces, like new devices like the Chromecast. I actually am pretty excited about it. I have a new nephew, and one of the things is that he likes to fall asleep with the TV on. And so as I can put something on, I'm watching it, or perhaps, you might have a partner who likes to fall asleep on the couch right as soon as you put a movie on. That's something that happens. So now you're able to just grab your Pixel Buds or your Sony Link Buds that are already paired to your phone, pop them in, and you can continue watching TV while they're fast asleep. So I'm super excited about that feature.
Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah.
And then another big one was something that I'm really excited about was this new, I don't remember the actual name for it, or even if it had a name, but getting nearby the Pixel tablet, automatically transferring your music for Spotify or YouTube Music.
That's right.
How does that work? How is it NFC? What is happening there?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the way we think about this is proximity and context, right? And then we work from the hardware level all the way to the app. And so in this case, we use a variety of signals to detect proximity between the devices. And then, we work with partners like Spotify to be able to say, hey, here's a signal of something else that's available for you. how do you want to act on this? And then we're able to move that across.
This would solve a lot of problems in my life because I'm constantly doing this, and I would love to see this expand. Is that something that is feasible, or because this system is locked right now to the Pixel phones and the Pixel tablet, or is that such a difficult thing to do because you have to have OEMs and like you said, apps and operating systems all working together? Like, is that possible to expand to other things, or is it locked to the Pixel ecosystem for now?
So again, Android's really about choice, right? And so the way we've built this is we've used multiple different ways to get both proximity and context. And so as we work through what are the signals that are available, we're looking to expand this to any other places where it makes sense.
You earlier mentioned that you really like the fast pair headphones thing. What other things personally do you really enjoy about the interoperability of all these devices that are in your house?
Yeah, it's a little bit, I'm going to be repeating myself a little bit because I shared with you some of my favorite examples. I do wake up with a song stuck in my head every day. So I do listen to the music and, as I'm getting to brush my teeth, I like moving the music around. It's something that I do on a daily basis, if not on a weekly basis. I really love that. And to your point, I would love to be able to have that follow me along without me having to do anything. So that's what I'd love to be able to see.
So you have a lot of partners that you're working with. You said, Spotify is obviously one of them,
sure.
LG, and a whole bunch of others. But one of the biggest barriers I see with the interoperability between Android and other devices in my house is Windows. A lot of people have Windows PCs, and Android does work with, a Windows laptop or a Windows desktop, but not at the level of what we're talking about right now with this interoperability. How is that something that Google is working with? Is Microsoft a part of this as well?
Good question. So a lot of Android users, a lot of people who use Android phones have a Windows machine as well. Last year, we launched Nearby Share, which shouldn't be called Quick Share, for Windows. Yeah. And we've seen very positive reception from users who are able to use it to quickly move a photo or a piece of text that they have on their phone over to their Windows PC. We'll continue to monitor that. We continue to talk to those users, understand what is needed, and figure out how we can enable that ecosystem as well. As I mentioned, the way we approach this is really leaning into that Android ethos of choice. So we understand that some people have Chromebooks, and Nearby Share works with Chromebooks, FastPair works with Chromebooks. We understand some people have Windows machines, and we are working on making sure that Android users can choose the devices that work best for them, and that we support them on these journeys that we think are very critical in this multi-device world we live in.
Awesome. I only have one more question, and it's interesting because I was going to reference Star Trek with this question, and then you referenced Star Trek already, so now there's a nice little thing. So the Star Trek future that we all think about with all these different cool devices and how they talk together and all work together, what is something that in 10 years, 15 years from now, that you hope to see with this interoperability between devices?
I think for me, the big thing is being able to choose the devices that are best suit the task at hand, and know that it'll be my device while I have it. It is the devices are working for us versus us having to adapt to devices. So when you go into a rental car, maybe you're able to have it all adjust to you without you having to go manually pair your phone to it.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Exactly. So things like that. I mean, it's just little things where we've accepted this idea that, hey, unless I do it, it doesn't happen. How can we flip that around and make it so that the devices work for us?
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you.
Thanks. We hope you enjoyed this interview with Sandeep. He gave us a lot of cool insight into what to expect from Android and how Android is going to work with other operating systems and devices in the future. If there's anything you want to see from Android in the future, though, be sure to jump down in the comments, and who knows, maybe Google will read it and something will come down the pipeline soon.